Be sure to share, like, subscribe, and comment down below. Judge Napolitano asks, is Nancy Pelosi a liability for the Democrats?
Hi, Judge Andrew Napolitano here, and you are on Freedom Watch with my guest and good friend and Fox News colleague, Juan Williams. He is the co-host of The Five here on Fox, and he's the author, I think this is your most recent book, of We the People. So I want to talk to you about Nancy Pelosi, who has become the face of the Democratic Party nationally, or at least in Congress. Is she an asset or a liability?
If you're a Republican, she's an asset. Because you look at Republican advertising, and especially in recent races this year, 2018, and they have used Nancy Pelosi's image and her words to a fare thee well. She is the whipping girl for Republicans when it comes to Democrats, and it works with Republican voters. She's a tremendous fundraiser, tremendous asset for Republicans. The other side of it, judges, and I'm holding here in my hand, it says here, she raised $25.9 million for House Democrats in their bid to retake the House in 2018, this year. So you see that from the Democratic side, even where there are hesitations, and I think this comes to the heart of your question, well, gee, if the Republicans find it so much to their advantage to publicize Nancy Pelosi, make her into the living devil.
Why are the Democrats keeping her?
Yes. Why don't the Democrats just get it? But it turns out she raises a ton of money.
So is there going to be a leadership change amongst national Democrats in the House?
Not unless, I think you're looking post-2018, and what you're looking at is how do things turn out. Democrats have to get 24 seats in order to gain the majority of the House. But according to most prognosticators, they have a chance. If it's the case that because of Nancy Pelosi, the Republicans are able to hold on to their majority, I think a lot of Democrats will think it's time for Ms. Pelosi to go. She's in her 70s.
How about somebody like Tim Ryan?
Well, Tim Ryan ran against her. This is the congressman from Ohio.
Right, but this is a blue-collar, Irish Catholic, labor union affiliated lawyer from the middle of America. I mean, this is like a quintessential Hubert Humphrey Democrat.
And very popular among Democrats.
Yes, although she buried him. I think she beat him about 2 or 3 to 1 when he ran against her.
No, but I didn't mean that. In that context, I don't think he's ready to defeat Nancy Pelosi, but I mean popular among his colleagues in the House.
Right.
Good standing in the party. He is seen as partially the future of the Democratic Party. And you have others like this fellow who was a mayor up in Wisconsin. Again, an Army veteran, gay, a new, younger face for the Democrats. Can we get somebody in there who's got a little energy, a little different look, and doesn't feed the Republican images of Democrats as a bunch of big spending liberals who want to take your guns?
Are the Democrats optimistic that Mrs. Pelosi will be Speaker Pelosi a year from now?
Yeah, there's a lot of hope. Now, what we've seen in recent...
Not hope, optimism.
Well, hope, optimism, tell me the difference there.
All right. I mean, do they expect it to happen?
They expect, yes. Okay. I would say. Now, I just wanted to issue a word of caution here to you and the viewers, which is that recently polls have indicated that there's been a closing in what we call the generic preference. And for a while, it had opened up and it was
Does
wildly...
Does generic preference really mean anything?
It does, because what we know is from past patterns, in other words, in past elections, that it has been predictive.
Okay, the generic preference is, who do you want in Congress, a Republican or a Democrat?
Who would you prefer to run Congress, Republicans or Democrats?
Right, it's not your district.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Because, people tend to like their congressman or woman.
Right.
And for a while, the Democrats had a big gap. I think a lot of anti-Trump sentiment. But that's been closing in the last month of 17, the early months of 18. It's been closing. Republicans have been very successful at raising money, and President Trump's numbers, which had been down in the mid-30s, now up in a little bit above 40.
Will Trump be an issue in 2018?
No doubt about it, because Democrats will make him an issue.
Will they make the I word, impeachment, an issue?
Less likely generally, but there's some districts where it can play to the Democrats' advantage. And but when Republicans have tried to use it, to say these guys are trying to impeach our president, it has not been that effective with the Republican base. I think the Republican base is pretty much supportive of President Trump, but they're not focused on impeachment. I think you're really getting some way out, even wacky Democrats who are saying it's time for impeachment. The country's not there.
Al Green, Congressman Green.
Yeah, and the country's not there yet.
Should, switching gears, should Jared Kushner be able to examine top secret documents and materials without a security clearance, which is apparently going on as we speak?
Of course not. This is, I mean, that's a double standard.
Why does this happen? I honestly,
you
and I have been watching this for years, for generations. I never heard of this happening.
Well, you're not supposed to have your kids there. Come on, that's pretty wild. Or your son-in-law in this case. I mean, but his daughter, President Trump's daughter, is there also, and this is also.
Does she have a security clearance?
No, nobody. I mean, these people don't have security clearances. They shouldn't be involved. I mean, I don't know. It sounds. You could say, well, hey, Juan's Democrat, but that's not partisan. That's just the way business works. You can't have people potentially subject to blackmail because they can't pass a security clearance, and that's the heart and soul of it. That there's some liability in the background that makes them subject to potential blackmail.
Is the Democratic version of the Nunes memo, the Adam Schiff one, going to come out of the House Intel Committee?
At the moment, no, and I think at this point, the reason it's frozen is both sides have an interest in not letting it out. Nunes has moved on. He wants more investigations, and he says he has more revelations to come. But the Democrats, they feel like, wait a second, why are we redacting things when, in fact, he put out a memo that suggested things that could never be known because they've been redacted.
This is a bipartisan or nonpartisan question. Isn't it dangerous to look at raw intelligence data and cherry pick from it in order to further a political narrative? And isn't that basically what Nunes did? And perhaps, because we haven't seen it, perhaps what Schiff also did?
Yeah.
I mean, the use of raw intelligence data for political purposes is dangerous to freedom.
Normally you and I have cherry, fast-moving conversations. I just want to slow down for a second and say something to you here. It's like basic mechanics. Why would I trust the judge with information if I know the judge is going to cherry pick it, potentially to benefit himself politically, but also embarrass me? So the intelligence community is
stop feeding Congress.
Exactly. That's dangerous to us as an American people.
Because we gather intelligence for national security and safety, not for domestic politics.
Correct. And you would hope, but it's been their history, so I don't have to say hope. Historically, House Intelligence, Senate Intelligence, very respectful, understanding that they were being trusted with America's family jewels.
Right. I don't know if the intelligence community feels the same way about the House Intelligence Committee. I'm going to guess that they don't.
I know they
so divisive. Juan, it's always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, Judge.
Thank you, my dear friend. From New York, defending freedom whenever they let me, Judge Andrew Napolitano. See you next time, America.
Be sure to share, like, subscribe, and comment down below and tell me how you feel about this report. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and let's make America great again. Peace.